Hey, it's Adrian, and today I'm taking a look at this TORRAS magnetic shockproof case for the Z Fold 6. Now, this case offers Qi wireless charging, and we have magnets for MagSafe charging as well. And there's two versions of this case, one with an S Pen holder and one without. I have the one with the S Pen holder, and even with that on there, it's still relatively easy to do fingerprint lock and unlock every single time. The phone looks good and feels good in the hand. However, there's one potential deal breaker that stops it from being the perfect case for the Z Fold 6. So let's take a closer look at how well it performs, and a big thanks to TORRAS for sending this out for review. In the box, we have the rear case cover, front case cover, user guide, and warranty card. The case is very lightweight, coming in at only 33 grams, and the design reminds me of the TORRAS case for the S24 Ultra. You can see very similar in color, it kind of matches, and this type of see-through or translucent material. Even the finish feels pretty similar. So let's take a look at the rear case first. So it's a matte type of finish, but it's not rough and it's not exactly smooth. It's kind of in between, so you do have a bit of grip here. And I do have oily fingerprints, and I'm not really seeing, much smudges left. Now on the rear, this is where we have the lip for the camera lens. So we are going to have wobble on here. I'll demonstrate that later, and a cutout for the flash. There's a huge cutout for the volume and power buttons where we're going to be using the fingerprint sensor. And then we also have the TORRAS logo on there. Now there's the MagSafe ring for MagSafe and Qi wireless charging. And we have cutouts around the phone for the different ports, etc. Now, one thing I noticed right away is that there's no adhesive strips anywhere on this case. So it seems like this case will be, attached to the phone, or it's going to be using this kind of curved lip here to keep it retained on the phone case. So we'll see how well that works. Now, in terms of the front case, so I mentioned I have the one that holds the S Pen, and you can see we have an area here to pop the S Pen in. So I'll test that out, let you know how easy it is to take that in and out. But yeah, same thing with the front. There's no type of adhesives anywhere on here. All right, so to install, first thing I'm gonna do is to install the front cover. So I'll just start in the top corner here, and it snapped into place really easily. So that was pretty effortless. And let's do the rear. So same type of deal, start in the corner and snap it in, and yeah, that was a very simple install. All right, so this is what the case looks like on the Z Fold 6, and give you a rear view there. So yeah, it looks pretty sharp and it actually feels good in the hand. Now we have this huge cutout here where the S Pen is gonna go. So let me just pop that in to give you an idea of how it's going to look. So yeah, it does actually make the phone a little bit wider, but it actually feels, more grippy and just, more secure and stable in my hand, because I do like it a little bit wider. Now, this is the front view with the S Pen and a side view. And then this is what it looks like from the rear. So you can see, yeah, it's kind of like a stepped type of design. So when you hold it from the side, you do have this type of level here where your finger is going to rest. Now, in terms of the fingerprint sensor, since the S Pen is occupying some of the space where you'd normally put your thumb, so let's test the unlock. And you can see I can still unlock it. It's a bit more tricky, definitely, to get to it, because you have to come in at a bit of an angle. But yeah, reliably, I can still get it. I just have to be a bit mindful when I'm unlocking. So no major issues there. And in terms of getting the S Pen in and out, well, you can just easily pop it out and then just snap it back in. And you could just grab it from the bottom here and pry it out. So yeah, this seems to work, fairly well, really easy to use. In terms of port access and cutouts, everything is nicely lined up. However, the top speaker grill, I could see that it's obstructed by about 1 or 2 millimeters, so it shouldn't have a big impact on the sound quality. And same as with the bottom, unobstructed USB Type-C port, but the bottom speaker, it's covered by about 1 or 2 millimeters. And the raised lips on the front of the case, you could see that those extend up a good amount. So you're not really gonna have any issues anytime you put the phone screen down. Really no issues at all there. Now, one thing that you do have to be mindful of is if you're gonna run any type of screen protector, especially a tempered glass screen protector, it might be challenging with how much of a bezel that is on the front cover. I never run my phones with a screen protector, but something to be mindful of. Now, even though we have these raised lips, you could see it's still easy for me to pull out the edge panel. Really no issues there at all. So, you can still use this without feeling too cramped, because I know there's some manufacturers who just choose to omit the front cover just so that, you have unobstructed access. But yeah, this is working pretty good. The case is also pretty resistant to streaks or, kind of fingerprints. So you can see if I run my fingers there, you can see those 2 long streaks. And if I do the same thing kind of on the back here, I really can't see anything visibly. I'm just kind of angulating it to see. But yeah, it's doing a fairly good job at, resisting smudges and things like that. And in terms of fitment, so you can see if I try to pull the front case off, it's still firmly in there. So even though there's no adhesive being used, I could shift it a bit, but it's actually not popping off of the phone. So TORRAS has done a pretty good job with keeping this kind of secure and planted on here without any type of adhesives. Since there's no double-sided tape on the left bezel, you could see that you could shift it out of place. Now, if that really bothers you, you could buy double-sided tape, like a really thin strip, and apply it there. But just opening and closing the case has not been an issue for me, and the case doesn't actually, kind of pop out or shift out of place. Just something to be mindful of. It's also really easy to open and close the case. Even with the S Pen version, you can see it's very effortless to do that. And that's because this area that runs along here, I could just kind of fit my fingers in here, press down, and just with friction, I have pretty good grip to do it. And in terms of the wobble test, so you could see significant wobble again because we have nothing on this side to kind of offset that when the phone's placed like that. And then if you fully open it up to use the S Pen, again, you do have wobble. It's not as significant, but it is there for sure. And since I don't have the Bluetooth version of the S Pen, it's pretty much unaffected anytime you want to use it. So the MagSafe charging is not really going to affect whatever you have going on if you're using this kind of standard version of the S Pen. And of course, you still have easy access to Qi wireless charging and MagSafe charging. All right, let's test the speakers. So I have my microphone about 12 inches that way, and I'm going to play the volume at max. And yeah, it sounds just as good as when the case wasn't on. I remembered reviewing the Z Fold 6 and just how well and full-bodied the speakers sound considering it's coming from a phone. And yeah, pretty much the same experience, so you don't really have to worry. So yeah, the TORRAS magnetic case for the Z Fold 6 is a pretty solid case. And if you do get the version with the S Pen like I have here, you'll just have to be a bit mindful every time you're fingerprint unlocking that you have to kind of come in at an angle instead of just flat on, but you can see I can still do it very reliably. And even though the speaker grills are somewhat obstructed, just by a couple millimeters, it really doesn't affect the speaker performance at all. According to what I can hear, it still sounds very loud. Wireless and MagSafe charging also works really well. The only thing that's kind of missing on here is hinge protection if that's something you need in a case. Otherwise, solid case overall. And if you're interested in picking it up, I'm going to leave some links down below for you to pick one up for yourself or to learn more. Now, if you are looking for a case with hinge protection, don't forget to check out some of my other Z Fold 6 reviews. And by the way, I review a bunch of different types of tech products on this channel, so check that out too. I'm sure you'll find something you like. And if I can ask a huge favor, would you mind liking and subscribing? It truly does help me out a lot. And I'll see you in the next one soon.